Welcome to the American Fork Podcast. We have something a little bit different for you this week. This is Jeff, and I am joined by nobody. That's right, I'm here all by myself. But listen, we've got an epic backpacking trip that we're planning up in Yellowstone. If you listen to us every week, you know that we've been totally anticipating being eaten by bears and bit by mosquitoes or something like that. We did have the opportunity to go on to another podcast this week. Phil and I'd like to do a shout out to CD, Ches, and Wayne over at the podcast called Messin with Mormons. Those guys were super cool, and this is a recorded open invitation to them that they're welcome to come on our podcast anytime. Here's an edited version of the Messin with Mormons podcast, and you can also go to their website or their podcatchers, from iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts, and listen to episode 170 titled Phil and Jeff. Here it is.
So American Fork Podcast, obviously that's a little play on words. Tell us about your podcast. You guys obviously are based out of American Fork, or are you liars?
We are liars a little bit. So we were born and raised in American Fork, but we don't record there. Only one of us actually lives there. But it's kind of a little play on words. We're forked. We're American forked. So
we're all forked.
How did this small town affect us? Why are we so weird and the way we are? What do you think?
We've all kind of came from the same place. So like a fork starts with a handle, it goes up, and then it splits off into all these different areas. And we've got basically across the whole spectrum people that we've grown up with. And when I say grown up with, I don't mean like we've hung out for the last few years. I mean, we're all 30-somethings, and we've known each other since we were 7, 12, and all the craziness and misfit stuff that goes with that. We've done it all. We've, anyways, we have tons of stories and stuff like that, but that's not our main focus. The idea is that America itself is also forked. It's split. And there's a lot of different opinions. And even, meeting you guys aren't exactly like us. In fact, quite different. But guess what? We can sit down. We can do a podcast. We can get along. Mm-hmm. We can look at each other's viewpoints, and we can go, all right, cool. And high five at the end or hug, whatever we want to do.
Yeah, I've listened to a few of your guys' episodes, and I like it because I feel like there's a lot of parallels with our podcast, and maybe with some of our listeners too, and your guys' listeners. Is it's nice to be able to sit down and have a conversation with people that can have differing opinions and still like not hate each other. Like I don't want to have to block you on my iPhone or
that's rare these days too.
Take you off my mailing
so divided.
list.
You can't just have a good conversation, and I think that's important. But I also think we're kind of unique being in the podcast world because, we kind of have to talk.
On a job, and they say, well, that seems awfully expensive. I say, when was the last time you went into Home Depot or Lowe's?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so anyway, it's kind of something that we have to live with now.
Well, here's a question. When you get down to the mechanics of it, why do you think that construction materials are so expensive?
In my personal opinion, just going off of people being home and not really having a whole lot to do, they probably want to make a lot of improvements. I think Lowe's in 2020 sold more paint than they've ever sold ever.
Yeah. So you think it's a demand issue. The demand has gone way up, and then the prices move with it, right?
Well, and I think they had to shut down too with everything with the pandemic. So you're getting less supply and even more demand. So it compounds. I could see that, but I don't know. Everything went up in price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I'm in the cleaning business. For those that don't know, ClearAdvantageWindowCleaning.com. What's up?
Jesus Christ. Not even a sponsor.
Hey,
there's not even any.
I'll sponsor the podcast.
There's not even any shame in that either. You just plug it. Like it's
shameless, dude.
I'm in the cleaning business, and because of the pandemic, people are wanting to be clean, and they're extra sensitive about sterilization and whatever.
My God. Do you sterilize the windows?
Yeah. Well, everybody knows that COVID is attracted to windows.
Of course.
Yeah, sure. But
no, I'm serious. Do you sanitize windows too?
I clean them with soap. I don't sanitize.
There's no extra steps due to the 2020 pandemic.
I clean the windows the same way I was cleaning them back in 2006.
And they're clean as hell.
But
am I right?
because they're fucking hella clean.
Hell yeah.
That.
So you guys have been doing your podcast for how many episodes are you on now? 23, I think you said?
22, 23. Yeah.
Yeah.
We started in December. So
so
we're babies.
yeah, but that's not a bad thing. I mean,
Yeah,
you guys
I
are already doing great. I listened to a couple episodes. I think it sounds great. You guys really have a dynamic, which I think is cool. And you have a big group of people that kind of got involved with it as well. But what kind of was that pushing point for you guys to be like, we should start recording some of this bullshit?
I think for me, it was like Jeff said, they're a big group of us. They're about 10 guys. We've been friends our whole lives, and we argue all the time. Like, we'll go hang out, watch a movie, and then I'll drive home to drop my friend off, and he'll stay in my car, and we'll argue until like 4 in the morning. Like, and I'm like, there's got to be a more constructive way to do this. And so I'm like, why don't we form a podcast? And
Like
so
someone got a black eye over a Marty McFly discussion.
Exactly. So why don't we form a podcast where instead of wasting our time, and we would argue on like the internet, Facebook, Twitter, Gmail chat, whatever.
Text messages.
And for me, it was just like this revelation. Like, yeah, we've got to do this podcast because it's a more constructive use of our time. And if we're spewing our opinions out to each other, we might as well spew them out to the general public with no filter.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's fun. Podcasting has obviously gained a lot of traction over the years, and it's been everyone has a podcast these days. Not everyone, but it's kind of fun, especially during the pandemic, since we've been so separated from society, and you don't go to the grocery store as often, or you wear a mask, so you don't see people's facial expressions, and it's kind of fun just to listen to a podcast like your guys' podcast, and I think this podcast too. It's kind of like sitting in the room and shooting the shit with some friends.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And people probably don't get enough of that. So if you don't get it in your own life, you might as well listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing we realized is that we are an extreme, like getting into our 30s now, it's like we are an extreme rarity to have the same friends. I don't know if it's because we can't make new friends. No, I'm just kidding. We all kind of have our own friends, but we have our solid group of 10 guys that literally have been friends since elementary and junior high. So I don't think that most people have that, not just in Utah, but everywhere around the country. Like I bring that up with people like, oh, I'm going on a backpacking trip. It was like, oh, who are you going with? Oh, the guys, we've been friends since like junior high. It's like, what? Yeah. Like most people, I think, really establish a solid relationship with like friends and whatnot when they're college age, maybe, or maybe later on in high school or even after college. It's like that's when your friendships really solidify. I don't know. It's me trying to peer into some other universe I'm not even used to, but I've established that we are weird. It's a hard word.
Airline trips.
Yeah.
I want to make a T-shirt for you that says that.
They won't serve alcoholic drinks or beverages by request, so you don't necessarily have to get a split of wine or a can of Coke, but they will still come around and give you a bag of penises and a bottle of water. I mean, pretzels. That's what I meant.
Peanuts.
Peanuts is where I thought he was going with it. And then he went to pretzels.
Yeah, so,
I thought he was going to say Biscoff.
They're still going around and making contact with every passenger in the entire airplane. And there's direct contact when you take that bag of chips or penis chips or whatever and then the bottle of water. But you can't pour me a fucking Coke? It just seems so silly. But I think people got dumb over the pandemic. That's just my personal opinion. I'll shut up.
Or it's just a power play, right? Because Delta's like, well, what are we doing to keep everybody safe that we can put on TV?
How is that a power play, though? You make more money when you sell booze, bro.
It's a promotional
Those
point.
Jack and Cokes are like $8 a piece, bro.
Depends on what class you're flying. If you're in Comfort Plus, you don't pay for that shit.
Well, I get what Wade's saying. What he's like,
Okay.
if you have a decision of trying to get people onto your damn plane, like that's their number one problem. So promoting all these crazy, stupid ways that they're trying to keep COVID off of people's hands, and I say that in the kindest way possible because we don't want to kill grandma, right?
Right.
But they come up with all these dumb ideas just to get people on the plane because honestly, who cares about the $8 Jack and Coke? They want you to pay for the $350 flight, and so they're trying to cater and pander to, here's all the crazy things that we're doing to make sure that you're safe.
Yeah.
And I say crazy in the kindest way because, if that's your belief, then guess what? That actually would help, apparently.
And it kind of
Jeff, you kind of sound like an ableist by saying that, man. Don't be throwing that crazy word around. It's all loosey-goosey.
It takes care of two problems on the flight, right? One, you don't serve alcohol, so you're keeping people safer. And then two, there's no more drunk people on the airplane.
I have a solution for both, actually. I think they need to just stop serving like various alcohols and only serve 101 liquor, so you can also use it as a sanitizer.
It's like, hey,
Yeah, it's perfect.
if you want to drink on the airplane, there's a shot of tequila and a stripper pole in the back.
They should just spray it on everyone. So just open your mouth as they walk down the aisle.
Just miss out of the AC vents.
Yeah.
Just Wild Turkey 101.
The flight attendant has a whistle in her mouth going. I'm starting to ramble now, aren't I?
Yeah, you have been for a minute.
Thank you. Anyway,
You have me going though. I want to drink a beer now.
I kind of want.
easy.
I kind of want to play some Mario Kart now,
Yeah, that'd be cool. Should we just do that for the last half hour?
dude. Pull out the projector screen, and I get to be
Yoshi.
Kong.
Okay.
Kong.
Okay, I'll be Toad.
I
Toad's
call
the
Yoshi.
best.
We're all going to get along well.
I'm that skeleton turtle guy.
Hell yeah. What is his name?
Bowser?
No, like you're not Bowser, right? You're
Koopa
talking-
Trooper or
Yeah.
Cooper Skeleton.
Yeah.
Skeletor.
Dude, there's something about those old vintage video games. I'm not much of a gamer, but I can fucking play GoldenEye for
Oh, yeah.
like 2 days straight, not shower.
What's your favorite setting? Proximity mines? You like playing proximity?
Yeah, I'll fuck with some
Okay,
proximity
cool.
mines. I put in some cheat codes and I'll pull out the golden gun.
Here we go.
Every once in a while,
Yeah.
you know.
We might have lost half of our listeners just then, but
Yeah.
with the crappy references. But
I don't
I
know.
know what you're talking about.
I don't keep up with with gaming that much, but it's kind of crazy how that's like kind of an industry these days.
Well, I'll tell you what. I set up gaming systems for my kids in the basement, okay? And they've got a Super Nintendo with SimCity and some other games. They're not so into the Super Nintendo. They got a PlayStation 2, DOS, for any Spanish listeners.
Yeah,
And
play Grand Theft Auto 2
I don't let them play that yet because,
Okay. hookers. Yeah,
But we do play Mortal Kombat, which
Wait,
is
he's
like...
lying. He does let him play that.
Okay, listen, I don't. But we do play Mortal Kombat, which is a quote-unquote super bloody game. But as I've said in our podcast, it's just red. Like, the graphics are so bad, it's basically not bloody.
yeah, it couldn't be worse than Cardi B at the doing the WAP on the Grammy Awards. You know. Any like local like Wade was describing it.
So the same family that is at war with each other, they all for Easter weekend go down somewhere near like Moab or Capitol Reef, San Rafael Swell area, like Hanksville, Goblin Valley, if you're familiar with that area, and they just camp in the desert. So like 300 people at this
Yeah.
point in trailers, tents, just out in the desert. That's kind of our Utah tradition, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was that many people.
Yeah, 300. I feel like
So
I'd need
a lot
like
of
a
people.
program, like when you go to a football game. Like I need a
Hi,
roster.
my name is Earl.
Yeah. Okay. The cousin B, whatever family, Phil X, is in campsite 21.
Yeah.
It's all gridded out.
Yeah, we don't
They
know.
will be drinking alcohol, so do not bring your scripture.
But I'm just thinking that we could all probably come, and no one would even know.
Oh, for sure.
Well, let's do it.
So I don't even know 90% of them. and I don't talk to them or anything. I just kind of like say hi to a couple people. And but it's like a tradition, you
Yeah.
know, so it's just like what you do. Easter weekend, you go camping. So
Yeah.
And my message is that anyone listening can actually just show up and hang
yeah, you
out,
can.
right?
Actually, if you Google Stringham Family Reunion,
There you go.
it will literally show you the spot that we camp. And like all that, you'll see the trailers there and
Oh,
everything
you're gonna
on,
have some
on
weird
Google
people
Maps.
showing up this year.
Yeah.
PH, bro.
Dorks. What? Oh, I know. Totally. There's a lot to be ashamed of in our past. Don't let that
Hey,
one fool
Phil,
you.
was that your idea?
Oh yeah. Pretty hot and tempting together.
So we go on a reunion every year. We all get together and we go on some trip, and sometimes the wives are there, sometimes they're not, sometimes the kids come, sometimes not. This year we're going to Yellowstone. I think this is the family reunion, right?
No, we're going backpacking.
But then we're also
Next
going to
week.
do a reunion.
No,
Have I been in? Oh, anyways,
Not invited.
apparently I'm not invited. No, I'm just kidding. But
I think we just did it last weekend on accident.
that's true. We went camping last weekend and ended up, me and Phil were like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go camping with our families and whatever. And then everybody ended up coming, which was really cool, of course. But there was like 8 dogs, 14 kids, 12
Yeah.
adults. It's like, holy crap.
And
it
no
turned into-
Devin for some reason.
Yeah, Devin, if you're listening, what the fuck?
Yeah, Devin.
Shout out to Devin.
Yeah, what up, Devin? Come on the show. We'll talk about it. Yeah, and I realized that at shows you lose your voice because you're yelling to your friends the whole night, and then it was still fun. It's just the next day I woke up and I'm like, yeah, I went to a show last night. It was fun, but shows come with that.
And you felt a little older than you used to be.
Yeah. That happens to me like every day. Some new bone cracks or something. I'm like, what?
It's weird when I go to a show the next day. I was like, why do my calves hurt so much? It's because it's such a random muscle. Like I was in a mosh pit, some fucking chick spit in my face. Like I beat up a 14-year-old because he got in the
What kind of shows are you going to? Was this at a Justin Bieber concert?
311, bro. 311. I'm telling you. But for whatever reason, my calves always hurt, and the reason why is because
Can I take a stab at it?
Oh yeah,
You're
take a
standing
stab.
on your tippy toes because
Yes,
you're short.
you got it. Yep. I'm 5'8". God damn it, God! You should have given me another. Lord Jesus, if you are, no offense, Phil, if you are a real thing, God, Lord Jesus, why haven't you?
We're all raising our hands in the studio right now like we're at a Baptist church or
please,
something.
give me
We're
that
praying
extra
together.
inch. All I need is that extra inch. And height, penis height, whatever. Just one more inch, God, please.
So why did your calves hurt?
Because
Because
he's
I'm on
standing
the
on his
tippy
tippy
toes.
toes all the time.
Oh, so that
trying
was
to see
really the
stage.
reason?
Yes,
Yeah.
I nailed it.
Yeah, that's exactly
I
it.
looked at
thought you
my
were
crystal ball, and I could see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's my guarantee to you. If we go to a concert together, I'll let you get on my shoulders.
Done.
What concert would it be, though?
Date.
Bieber.
Fuck yeah.
I'll have 2
Or
cups
Ariana
of beer.
Grande.
I'll have 1 cup of beer in each hand, and I'll be singing, baby, 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 oh, on top of Jeff's shoulders. Baby,
You can reach down to your crotch every once in a while and just give me a sip of your beer, right?
His shoulders would be wet from my ass sweat and beer droppings.
And
All
whatever
right,
else.
that's
yeah.
a little too far.
Beer droppings.
Beer
Awfully detailed.
We're going to talk about logistics later, okay?
I love it.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for being on the show today. I know that you're on Messing with Mormons, so we go to all places of conversation. But thank you so much, everybody. Go check out your podcast, American Forked.
Yeah, where can we hear it?
Yeah, you can go to AmericanForked.com, or we're on all the podcatchers, so Apple, Spotify, Twitter, or whatever.
Angie's List.
We don't know.
Angie's List.
Just you'll
Craigslist.
find it. If
Yeah.
the podcast is there, you'll find it.
American Forked, Forked.
Have you guys done any stuff with YouTube at all?
We're just about to launch our first YouTube something at some point. So tune in.
Look forward to
The
that.
details are amazing.
Yeah.
Can you guys come over here and put us on YouTube? Because that just seems like something. I feel like we've wanted to do the YouTube.
I've done it. It's just more work for me.
Yeah, because you're the only. Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly. That's why we haven't done it so far. But
Wade's
Yeah.
got the college degree,
yeah. There you
That
go.
doesn't mean I'm any more qualified for this shit.
Hey, I got my college degree in black belt, triple fucking, I don't even know, talking shit.
See, this is the time when I wish I had the car crash noise.
Yeah.
Just that's how bad your joke bombed.
Or the record screeching.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
That was a horrible impression of that.
I like it. Do it again.
Well, thanks again for coming on. You can reach them out also on their hotline. It's 911. No Mormons were harmed in making this podcast. 911. That's their number. 911. No Mormons harmed in making this podcast.
thing that we get fucking sued over.
Thank you very much for listening to this unusual episode of American Forked. Hopefully, if one of us gets eaten by a bear, we might be recording from a either funeral home or a hospital in the great state of Montana, possibly Idaho. But I promise we'll bring that to you. Also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon, my favorite. Patreon donations this month will all go towards Phil getting his arm reattached from a grizzly bear attack, and for Trent's hair being replaced by it being eaten from a bison. Thank you very much. Love you. Love you.